Just mic'd up with Mikey Mahtook. Got the boys in. I got Lloyd. We got J Mitch. We got Jackie Boy.
He tried to jump up and he might have knocked it in.
Good timing. Let's go. What a start to the Monday. I mean, I'm from Lafayette. My boys will come in and say,
oh, God. So me and Joe on the ground. I got Joe in the headlock. And he's sitting there. He's punching me in the stomach. Like, punching me.
Here, is everyone sitting around? Who here thinks Ochenko can practice today after having 5 full beers? And he goes, Chad Jones, right? Chad Jones. 6 minutes. For 7 minutes, right? Chad's like, no, man, I don't think Ochenko can practice today. And I was like, I look back and I'm like, Jesus Christ. I saw you there. You're more fucked up than me.
On the spirit plane had some issues, I think. She was sleep farting.
you heard her or you just thought it was her?
I sat right next to her. I smelled it.
Whoa. What was that?
Time for the show.
Now, when you do go to spring training, are you gonna bring your chinchilla and your turtle? My dad tell you about it.
The SEC is gotta hate fat people. I mean, I get crushed for that. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, man.
Hey, just the South, bro. You got a bunch of food down here. Like they should
Players, look at Lloyd.
You know what, Lloyd?
You're looking for a recruiting coordinator, coach. I'm here.
He's like, I'll piss my pants right now.
No way.
We're wearing gray pants, long gray pants. He goes, I'll piss my pants right now.
Hello. Welcome back to Mik'd Up. Today is Wednesday, May 14th. We got a big show for you today. We tried real hard to get Coach Jay Johnson back on the show this Wednesday. They're in the air. They're flying. They're actually not in the air anymore. They've landed. They've probably just started practice. So they're practicing right there at South Carolina. But you still got us. You got to ask Mikey and Mitch Wednesday. We're going to have a lot of conversation about the last weekend of the year leading up into the SEC tournament. What do we want to see? Coach Johnson.
Coach Johnson.
Mr.
Coach Klein.
Mr. Coach Klein. Mr. Jay Johnson. Mr. Coach Jay Johnson. He has announced that he is going to keep Kade Anderson in his normal Friday role, not move him up a day to pitch at South Carolina. That means he's going to keep Ianson on Saturday, which means it's going to be Johnny Holstaff on Thursday, which is tomorrow. We're going to talk about what we think we're going to see, what we want to see, and we're going to do our best to guess what his thought process is. So you're going to have a lot of baseball conversation, a lot of SEC conversation today. Paul Skeens, Mr. America.
Yeah,
Mr.
Captain
America. He is announced he is going to play in the World Baseball Classic, which is awesome. The World Baseball Classic, as we've seen in years past, it is electric. It is extremely fun to watch. And you don't normally see some of the top-tier pitchers decide to play in it because that is at a time where they're not really ramped up yet for the year. But he has committed to playing. Obviously, that's of no surprise. He's probably the most paid Jeff the Jet, apparently, Passan, was on McAfee today and talked about he feels like he's the most patriotic player ever. Everybody likes the flag and loves America. He said this guy wanted to die for America. He was gonna fight. He was gonna be a fighter pilot. So that's a pretty cool honor for him. And his girlfriend is a cover model for Sports Illustrated swimsuit. So power couple still continues to make waves. Paul Skeens threw the other day, had another great outing. Lost by the Pirates. They stink. And so he is being wasted there. See what happens with him. But at least we get to watch him on a world stage in competitive matchup. PGA Championship this weekend. All right, if you haven't put your pools in, now's the time to do it. I got to do that. I have some people that I like. I'm going to throw out there.
Who? Rory?
No, I'm going to throw some. I mean, Rory his game plays well for the PGA Championship. I like our guy, Ludwig.
Oh.
They say long iron, really good long iron players.
Canceled this weekend.
What was that?
That was
Say it again?
J-Bench.
Lloyd had you mute. Lloyd had you love.
So I hope the whole damn tournament gets canceled this weekend. They bounced me out of my damn hotel because I took too long to book the shit.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh yeah, I forgot. It's in Charlotte.
Now I gotta stay by the damn airport.
Damn.
The whole tournament gets canceled.
Damn, that looks like your dinners are gonna be
not as quaint.
No, your dinners are gonna be your Old Faithful. I know they got one close to the airport.
What's so faithful?
Well, I mean, sometimes you leave your food there. You're so generous that you give them their food back. You pay for it and give it back to them, and just I'm good. I don't need it.
The strip club?
Some would call it the
I gotta
cookout.
find a different one now.
I'm sure they got one. I
I gotta find a different one now.
I'm sure they got one close to the airport. But that's
Salty.
going on.
I'm salty, man. I'm salty.
That's going on this weekend. Scotty, obviously, you can put money on Bryson DeChambeau, a favorite. I think Bryson's going to try to overpower the course, and it may eat him up a little bit. But we shall see. We got a lot to talk about.
That is everybody's strategy. Like Rory went out on the damn interview and said, like, what do y'all think about Quail Hollow? Whatever. He's like, that's a place you pick up driver, hit as far as you can and figure it out.
Right, and
people were not happy about that.
And apparently that's what Bryson likes to do. Lloyd, Jared, I got to tell you what Lloyd just did, and this is diabolical. So Lloyd, coming back from London, you're flying long flights, a lot of recycled air, pick up a lot of germs. He comes in and says his beautiful girlfriend has bronchitis. Hey, is bronchitis contagious? Yes. Okay, you stay over there. Don't come over here. We don't drink we don't share anything. Fine. Well, he comes in today, man. I know I'm starting to get sick. I feel good right now, but I can tell it's coming. I'll probably be sick this weekend. My nose is stuffy. So when you're a normal person and you have a stuffy nose, you go get some Kleenex and you blow in the Kleenex, and maybe a few different times, but you do it. Lloyd gets a rag that is used in the kitchen of our home at indigopapers.com, and he blows it in the rag, and he's consistently blowing it in the rag. Diabolical. And it's not clean. It's been used.
I think this was used to clean up this place.
Diabolical. Yeah. It is.
Hey, bro, you need some home training, bro. God, dog, you live dirtier than a cat.
I mean, that's like the old school guys having the handkerchief and like giving it, like blowing into it, and being like, "Hey, bro, why? Who blows into a handkerchief? Like that's disgusting."
See,
but
that's
what you got. That's what we got to deal with Lloyd over here. It's fine.
Y'all don't know culture. That's culture. It's like a handkerchief.
Uh-huh.
Like so, if a girl sneezes, boom, bang. Here's my old.
That looks more like a quarterback towel than a handkerchief.
That is a towel that I think was used to lacquer some of this wood because it's got quite the scent to it.
Yeah, so he's that's what's going on right
Cloud
here.
Cloud 9 right now.
That's what's going on right here. But
so you're over there double dipping? Okay,
yeah. But we're not here to talk about Lloyd's hygiene.
No.
We're here to talk about baseball. We're here to talk about...
Or lack thereof.
Or lack thereof. We're here to talk about baseball. We're here to talk about sports. We're also here to talk about Bocock Brothers cigars. LSUcigars.com. I've been getting a lot of text messages about these cigars. Hey, how do I get those cigars that are on your desk? Well, easy. You can go to LSUcigars. Ooh, I get choked up. They're so good. They're such a good cigar. LSUcigars.com. And you go pick out what you want. You can pick out these beautiful boxes. You got this one, right? This is what it looks like on the inside. You got those two up there. Both kind of resemble baseball jerseys. High-quality cigars. They obviously taste really good. They're smooth. Great gifts. Great for you if you want to enjoy this postseason run that LSU is about to make. If you want them, LSUcigars.com. When you check out, type in promo code MIKEDUP15. That's MIKDUP15. and you'll get 15% off. So getting a lot of phone calls about that, which is great for Bocock Brothers, great for us. And try them out. Try them out.
Speaking of, you'll never guess who got. I'll give you one guess. I'll give you a million guesses.
Okay.
But somebody that has become a cigar aficionado over the past after getting a couple of Bocock Brothers when he swung through here.
Not you.
No. I mean, I'll do it.
Swung through here. Swung through our tailgate.
Here.
You don't need another vice.
Yeah, I know. That's why.
Who is it?
Noah Tingle.
Noah
Doesn't do anything, and it seems
What?
nice. He's like, I think I'm a cigar guy now.
Did he buy some?
He got some from here.
Oh.
He got a couple Bococks, and I was like, would never expect that. I would have gotten blamed for that.
Tell Noah to go on there and tell his dad about it.
Yeah.
Tell the family.
Said his mom looked at him with disgust.
It's okay.
He doesn't drink.
Hey, I'm growing up, Mom.
He doesn't cuss.
This is my one vice.
Yes, he picked one.
My one vice is Stogies from Bocock Brothers too, which is great. What a great one! What a great one to pop your cigar cherry.
Exactly. So I think that's probably was part of the problem. Is like it's actually a good cigar, not like when you smoke a Philly without weed in it for the first time. You're like, oh, I'm smoking cigars. Like you're smoking backwoods.
Yeah.
Maybe this isn't for me.
What if he showed up with some Swisher Sweets?
Swishes.
What if he shows up? What if he showed up at his house for the first time with some Swisher Sweets?
Yeah, get him on the different game. Roll your own.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah. All right.
Still $1.
Let's talk. Let's talk about this weekend. LSU goes to South Carolina. Obviously, everybody's playing Thursday, Friday, Saturday, getting ready for the SEC tournament, which is the following week, Memorial Day weekend. LSU is going to South Carolina. Obviously, South Carolina has gone through their struggles throughout the course of this year. They have lost 7 straight SEC games. Some of them, a lot of them, not close. A couple of them close, but they have not been good. They haven't been playing good baseball. I feel bad for Coach Mainieri. We've talked about that. But LSU goes there, announce their rotation ahead of time, and the only difference is instead of having the Sunday, Johnny Holstaff, let's figure it out, they are doing the Thursday, Johnny Holstaff, let's figure it out. The other difference of that is since it is Thursday that they are doing that, and Kason Evans threw on Sunday, Kason Evans will not be starting, I would imagine, or pitching in that Thursday game. I believe Chase Shore's probably not as well, and and Chase may, but I would imagine that it's going to be a Jaden Newt type of guy, type of outing. Maybe have William Schmidt go out there and see if he can't get right and piece it together with the bullpen, and then you go to your aces after that. Is that the sentiment that you feel? Do you feel the same way, or do you think something differently, Jay?
No, that's what I think is going to happen. I'm actually wondering if Kason Evans will pitch at all this weekend. Like, if you are able to get 2 wins before you get to Saturday, or if you're able to get into Saturday's game and somehow, like, break it open early to where it's not close, does he pitch at all this weekend? That's what I'm wondering, right? Because the back end of the year, he's pitched a lot more than he has recently. I think there's a good chance, obviously, that maybe they throw him in there for an inning just to get some kind of work. But I think there's a good chance that he may not pitch at all. And, you keep kind of those guys, the Friday, Saturday for sure, on that same schedule. And look, LSU's in a spot where I think outside of them losing this series and some other things happening around the country and in the conference as well, I think they're in a spot where they'll for sure get the double bye, which means they'll be one of the top 4 seeds of the SEC tournament. That double bye this year with the new format basically means that they get to approach the tournament kind of like a regular weekend, right? Where I think 3 games would put them into, or 2 games, whatever it is, will put them into the championship, right? So you kind of get to sit there and approach the week like a regular weekend, or like I guess maybe an extended weekend a little bit. Yeah. If it's 4 games that you got to play. But either way, the double bye is where you want to be, because you don't want to be in a spot where you got to play more games than what you probably want to and or need to. And if they're in that spot, then you can for sure sell out to make sure you win 1 game, I think, in that situation. You win 1 game, that means you for sure get to day 2 where you for sure get to throw your Friday and Saturday starters again. Yeah. So I think that's kind of the spot that they're in. There's some other weekend series that mean a little bit more than this one. I think LSU needs to win this series, but I think that's about where their need in this weekend kind of is at this point.
Yeah, and look, it's a weekend where you want the offense to do what they're supposed to do against a team like this. South Carolina has a 9-point-something ERA, second worst, or 9-point-something ERA in SEC games, which is second worst in the conference behind Missouri. And so you would, no matter who's on the mound, you would imagine, because they're not, Jay's not going to treat the offense like a spring training game where you're going to, hey, you get your 2 at-bats and you come out the game. Like, it's not, he's not doing that. It's not, hey, you've already clinched the number 1 seed in Major League Baseball postseason, so we're not going to play you a ton and we're going to give you some rest. It's not like that. He wants these guys are going to go get their full at-bats. They're going to play the entire game. And you would imagine that, based off the pitching staff that they're facing, they would score runs, and it would kind of take a lot of the pressure off of, the pitching staff to do something extraordinary. So, that's my take on it.
Outside of getting swept, I think if they lose the series, they still get a national seed. But why put yourself in that spot where you're trying to figure out if you've done enough or if you haven't, or trying to go into the tournament feeling like you need to do more than what you need to do, right? And to be able to approach it like a regular weekend and let the chips fall where they may. So I think you take care of this weekend, that way you're not kind of teetering or sitting on that spot, depending on what else happens around the league, and you for sure have that national seed locked up, and you can go ahead knowing that, the road to Omaha is going to have to go through the box one way or the other.
Yeah, right now D1 baseball has LSU as a 2 overall seed. In their regional, they have Dallas Baptist, Southeastern, and Maine. So that's obviously D1 baseball. They have different pundits putting out their brackets. But LSU has a 2 overall seed going into this last weekend of the year. Feels like that's pretty solid. They have Texas as the 1 overall seed, even after the last 2 weekends. And so it just feels like they are kind of locked in. But at the same time, they have Tennessee as the 6th overall seed, which I know some people were worried about Tennessee have gotten pushed out of that since they haven't been playing good baseball lately, and trying to fight this last weekend to be a top 16 team, 16 seed. I don't think they're in jeopardy of losing that, but I was shocked to see Tennessee.
Good the team is, but you also are seeing what they're putting out there in terms of win-loss and how they're getting it done. And they haven't gotten it done for the last 5, maybe 6 weeks if they don't get it done this weekend as well.
Yeah, no, it's a shocking thing. Here's the deal. Arkansas has an outside chance of winning the SEC, right? I know we've talked about it not being like that important, but they want to do it, right? So they go out there and it's Tennessee. Everybody wants to sweep Tennessee because of the antics they have on the field. So they're playing like Arkansas is going to go out there with the hopes of trying to sweep, and backdooring their way into an SEC championship game. I just don't see. I think Arkansas is the better team, and if Tennessee loses another series, I agree. There's no way they can be a top 8 seed. Honestly, they shouldn't be a top 16 team if they lose 5 straight series to end the season. They haven't beat anybody.
I would agree with that, and I also look at it this way too. Like we played at Arkansas. Arkansas is widely known as one of the tougher places, not only to play in the conference, but in the country. Like, for all intents and purposes, like, this is the beginning of playoff play for Arkansas, right? Like, they got beat last weekend. They want to tune up the correct way to go forward. What happens in the tournament really doesn't matter that much for them. So that place is going to be packed because you're bringing in Tennessee. That place realizes that it's also the last home series of the year. For all intents and purposes, this is a playoff series for Arkansas. Right? And I imagine that they're going to go out and approach it that way outside of whoever may throw tomorrow.
Super 19 guaranteed usually in the SEC. Right now, Tennessee sits at 15-12. So they would have to technically sweep Arkansas to get to that 18, which is a 50-50 shot. If they would just win the series, that means they're at 17-13. That, to me, is not a super regional host. When you have other teams like Vandy, Auburn, and Georgia both at 16-11, and if they go and they win their last series of the year, they're at easy 18 wins, some maybe 19 if they get a sweep. I just think that they should be above. They should be above Tennessee in the national.
Yeah, if you look at, I agree with you, dude. If you look at what Auburn has done recently and where they got themselves at right now, like, they are playing very good baseball. They've beaten some very good teams. They've swept some very good teams, including the number 1 team in the country right now. They are sitting in a much better spot, and I think they have a much better resume in terms of if you're literally just going to compare their schedules and what they've done. them in Tennessee. And obviously they're sitting out one game higher than what Tennessee is right now, but they go out and win this series. They have a better home record. They're obviously not better on the road. They have a better recent track record. They are the better team at this situation at this point in the year right now.
And they have better matchups, right? Georgia plays, I believe Texas A&M. Auburn plays Ole Miss, and I believe Vanderbilt plays Kentucky in this last series of the year. So obviously Tennessee playing Arkansas. That's the out of all of those opponents. That's the toughest one. I don't know. I think you're going to look up, and Tennessee's not going to be a top 8 national seed, but we shall see. Florida right there, 13 and 14. Florida making their way into a potential backdoor regional.
Oh, they had that coach. What's his name? Kevin O'Sullivan.
Yep.
He was smiling ear to ear whenever he was the one. It's like, this is what we do. This is how Florida plays baseball. Sometimes we get hot at the right time.
That is
not
wrong.
Close to getting fired.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
He loves.
I think the number now is. Hey, I think the number is this year. Like, I could be completely wrong, but I think the number at this point. I think this is year 18 that he's been at Florida. He's had 9 Omaha trips.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah,
he's over 50% clip. He's right at 50% clip if he doesn't make it this year of getting into Omaha.
How did I mean,
So,
that's absurd. It's hard to really and they don't get any support. Like Florida,
zero
support, and they go to Omaha 9 out of 18 years. What Paul went 5 straight times? Is that right? Somebody was telling me.
Did he go 5 straight times? I don't think he went 5 straight.
In his career.
I think it's 5 or 6 in his career. I don't know. He went. I mean, I guess we could try to count him. He went 2009. He went 2013. Did he go back in 15 or 14? He went in 17. Yeah, I think he went 5 times.
Omaha. He also took them to Omaha for regional championships in 2005, 2007, 2008, 2009.
Oh, he went in 2008.
Don't get me wrong.
He went 8 and 9.
I don't even know for sure. I don't even know for sure, but like I know I'm not right. Like, is there if you take like a decade, he's probably got in any decade span you could probably try to put it together. There's probably a good 5 to 6 trips in that decade. Now, obviously, there isn't the Skip Bertman 5 to 6 championships with it, right? But like that's a lot of trips. That situation, like that's not easy to do.
No doubt.
Yeah, he went 5 times: 2008, 2009, 13, 15, 17.
Well, 13, 15, 17, they were going every other year there. And then after 17, yeah, it's tough.
And you could probably argue that he should have won it in 2013 and 17.
Well, 13 they won 2 and Q. 17 you could really argue starting the championship.
That's the Eric Walker year.
That was the one. That was a spikes up slide.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was that year where they lost to Florida in the national championship game. But yeah, that shows you like
spikes up.
I mean, LSU obviously a lot of success. Florida 9 trips in 18 years. Like that's unbelievably impressive. Unreal.
That's why if you're South Carolina, that's why you hire Paul.
1 win, right?
Look at the resume.
Only got 1 win.
Who?
Sully.
1 natty.
He only got 1 natty, right?
He's been 3 times.
Yeah, beat LSU, lost to LSU. Well, no. Lost to LSU in 23. I don't know the other ones, but anyway, yeah, big weekend for LSU just for positioning wise, and then let's talk a little bit about next week. I mean, obviously we have Monday. We're gonna be back on the show. I will announce that we're not gonna have a show on Friday. I will be out of town. Out of town. That's an invite.
Big important meeting.
It's an invite that I can't turn. If you turn it down, you may not get invited again, type thing.
Yeah.
And potentially to help fund the show.
Yeah.
You're
sponsor hunting.
Sponsor hunting. Right. Whether that's coming sponsoring from my own pocket
yeah.
or sponsoring the show, but I'm sponsor hunting. No doubt. So no show Friday, back on Monday, but we can talk a little bit about next week. With the new format, obviously I'm not the biggest fan of it. I still don't think all 16 teams should make it. I think if you're looking at the standings right now, like 14 out of the 16 teams feel like at any given day can get a win against any team. right? South Carolina, Missouri this year, like they're not really in that category. But A&M's the third team at 10-17, and we know how good they are and how good they can be. So I don't think all 16 can go. But with the new format, single elimination, you play a game, you win a game, you move on, you lose a game, you're out. That means the top 4 seeds who get double byes basically are playing a weekend series to win the championship, which is good for the first, organizing the pitching staff and the rotation and getting the guys the work that they need. I believe, and I think Jared agrees with me, that LSU needs to get through 2 games at least in the tournament. Not for postseason play, not for positioning, but to keep the starters sharp. You want Kade Anderson and Anthony Ianson to throw and just stay sharp and kind of stay in rhythm. And then after that, I'm not saying they don't want to win, because every time you play something you want to win. But if you can get to first 2 games, I think that would be considered a success going into the postseason.
Yeah, I think that's how it's going to happen. Like, I would imagine, but if they're one of the top 4 seeds in the tournament, they'll end up getting the double bye, so they get to approach the conference tournament that way. I would imagine at that point they're going to go in the terms of, if Cade, say, throws game 1 of the conference tournament, I wouldn't be surprised if you don't see him throw more than 85 pitches or start an inning where he's thrown 85 to 90 pitches or more. Like, I think there's probably the number they want him to be able to get, if it's not even less. Could be 75. I don't really know. But I would imagine, like, that's kind of where they want him to get the work in. But also, like, I think it's uber important that you go out there and you get a win in game 1. Because if you get the win in game 1, you put all hands on deck to get that win in game 1, because all we really want to do is get to that second game for sure, right? Hopefully you can get to that second game for sure, which means now you get to start your next starter and you kind of get to figure it out on the back end. And then look, if you win, you kind of get to go forward, and you play day 3 and you pitch who you need to throw and pitch in day 3, and you kind of go forward from there. But I think being able to play 18 innings or 7-7, however that goes, like, I think that's most important, and I think that's what they're shooting for.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's just that's the way it goes. And then I guess my next question, and this is nobody's pushing this narrative except for me, of
Devin
Sheeran, right? Like, and this is just us talking. I'm not saying he is or is not going to pitch. I would like to see him out there. It feels like they've been trying to get him out there. If he doesn't throw this weekend, do you think that Jay, is he done for the year? Do you think Jay would give him an opportunity to pitch in the postseason if we don't see him this weekend? Like, do we have to see him pitch before the postseason?
I don't. No, I don't. And the reason why I say that, you got to think about it. We heard from pretty close sources that Chase Shores was going to pitch, right, had they gotten out of that regional. Well, Chase Shores hadn't pitched in a year before that.
Yeah.
Devin Sheeran was active last year.
Right.
So if he's able to go, and he was active in D1 baseball last year. So if he's able to go at some point this year, I think there's an opportunity that he necessarily think it needs to be, or he has to pitch in this weekend for that to come true going forward.
Yeah. And that's a kind of a wild card, because that's a guy that you throw in that has got elite stuff. Obviously, we haven't seen him. He still needs to throw strikes, but other teams haven't seen him pitch this year either. They only saw him last year in different competitions. So, what's he going to look like? That's kind of one of those things where, like, there's not a ton of film on him, and there's not a lot of innings seen with him being thrown. And so, maybe he goes out there and shoves, and it's just one of those things where guys haven't had the opportunity to kind of figure him out, right? They may not have the opportunity to figure him out in time, especially if he comes out dealing. So that's an interesting addition to keep an eye on. But I don't know. That's me pushing that narrative, though.
Yeah, with that narrative being pushed
by me,
by you, that's a great. So you shoot. If you don't see him this weekend, would you start leaning more toward that?
Well, that's what Jared said. He said he didn't think you had to see him this weekend.
No. I'm talking about health wise. Like that, does that become the real conversation?
Well, and that's the other thing. Like, did he have a setback?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. We don't know if he's had a setback. Maybe I don't know. We don't know that. All I know is he wasn't on the injury report, and he's been throwing, and he's been
it's a false flag operation.
He's been building up to pitch. So, if something else happened, obviously that's a different conversation. But I don't think we're ever going to know that answer if he doesn't throw. Like, oh, he didn't throw because he got hurt again. It just maybe he didn't throw because he wasn't ready.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, you could possibly put it to bed for a different reason other than, oh, he hasn't pitched. It's like, oh, I don't know if he's going to pitch at all this year.
Right. But that'd be a much needed addition.
They got to clear benchmarks.
Still got to do it. You're right.
And now for the year. Chase Shores would have pitched if we went to the Super Regional.
Right. And look,
Jay has quite the way with words.
I think Chase Shores is going to be a guy in the postseason that you're going to look back and at the end of the run and be like, damn, LSU really took off and really made this World Series run because of that. Or it's going to be the conversations like, man, they made a run, but had he figured it out, or had he been the guy that we thought he was going to be, they would have gone a different way. I'm not saying he's the determiner of making it to Omaha or not, but he could be the determiner of winning it.
Well, especially now with that, I don't know if maybe I'm just pushing this narrative. I don't know if anybody else has said this, but it certainly feels like LSU has two aces now with Anthony Heights and Kade Anderson. I don't know if anybody has that take, but it feels like now you're looking for a third guy. And
some would say the best two in the country.
I would say you have two legit aces, the best two pitchers in the country. And so if you're looking for a third, like that's where that Chase Shores conversation comes up, the Cowan conversation comes up. That's me pushing that narrative. But
I just don't,
in case it happens.
I don't think you see Cowan start unless it's a desperation
you're the best
loser's
spot.
Bracket and like he hadn't thrown in a few days and he has the ability to go. I don't think you see him start unless that is the situation. Jay?
I don't think you see him start, period. And here's the reason why. Outside for me, and this is just for me. This is how I view it. Unless I'm pitching in day 3, Omaha College World Series Championship Series, and he's gonna start for me on day 3, game 3 of that. I don't know if I'm pitching him at all. And the reason why I say this is because I'm thinking now about like confidence factor and what my other guys are thinking. So I've already started Chase. I've already moved them out. I've already started Case and Evans. I've already moved them out. Now if I throw them in that role and he gets me past that and I got to go to my quote-unquote third starter, if that's how you want to look at it again, who's stepping up to it again?
Yeah.
Are we going to throw him out there in that situation again? Because at that point, I feel like at that point, you've told those two guys, I don't think you're good enough in this role. So then now you're jeopardizing, like, going forward, like, all right, when I do use them, do they still have that same confidence factor?
Yeah.
That's the spot that you're in. And I just don't, like, the risk reward of them actually being in the right headspace, I'm not sure it's there. I don't know if that'll be there, so I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, and look, I agree with you. I think that it's only a desperation start. Like, hey, whenever you go through the losers bracket in Omaha and you have got you win or go home and you don't have a lot of guys, your starters are going to be ready if you make it to the World Series. Similar to what we saw in 23, is that the time where they say, hey, you're going to go there and you're going to kind of pick up the slack and get us to that championship series and we'll figure it out from there. It's not going to be a, hey, let me just try you in there, get us to get a win. It's more of, hey, we have nobody else. We're going to throw you out there. That would be the only option. Same thing you just said, like game 3 of the World Series and, everybody's used up and you need a guy. That would be, I think, the only reason. So I agree with that.
Yeah, I can't see a situation, and like I don't know. We don't know. Like I don't know if we ever thought we would see Will Helmers do what he had to do in that desperate situation last year. So like anything can happen. And that's not to say but like we didn't think we'd see Will have his longest and best outing of his LSU career in that spot. I don't think I was on anybody's bingo card. So there's no knock to Will Helmers. That's just not what people thought we were going to see at that point, at that time. What I am saying though is I don't know if I see a situation that you could foresee that LSU would still be playing, but they would have Einstein burn, they would have Cade burn, they would have Chase Shores burn, and they would have Case and Evans burn, and they're still alive.
Right.
Like that's not, if you're looking at this team from next year, you're like, I don't know. I don't know if we're in a good spot at that point.
No,
Yeah. And then everybody said the same thing in 2023. Then here comes old Nate Ackenhausen.
Right. But that's what I'm talking about. Like,
but that's sometimes what it takes.
You know, what if you have?
That's not fair to say that, Lloyd, because we saw Nate start at various times that year.
No,
So,
right.
like,
I get it. I get that. I mean, Callan has started in his career, not here at LSU. You know, but like it would have to be something extraordinary to happen where, hey, you play 2 nut cutter games and you know, Anderson goes 6 innings, and then you bring in Kason Evans, and he goes 3, and then you take him out, and you go to 10 or something, and then all of a sudden you win, and you get to the next game, similar stuff. I'm not saying it's a long shot, is what I'm saying, but like, you know,
no. Yeah, we're sitting here in the same. I think we're sitting.
We're saying the same
boat.
thing. That's what I'm saying.
All I'm truly trying to say is that, like, do I see a spot where he's starting? I say no, and the reasons I said it, but like, I'm looking at it in terms of the day that he would supposedly hypothetically start. Are we sitting here basically saying that you don't have Evans available and you don't have Chase Shores available? Maybe you don't have, I don't know. Maybe you don't have.
Look, Jay Nude's got more starts than him.
Maybe you don't have Nude available. Maybe you don't have William Schmidt available. Like, are all of those guys not available? Because at that point, that's a tough time to say, hey, I know you've done it before.
Right.
Go start, and we'll leave everybody else in the pen.
Correct.
That's all I'm saying.
And I agree. They
haven't been in a situation where that's where they are all year.
100%.
And I think if we knew that that's where they were going to be, if they show up to a game and you knew that all those other guys were not available, I don't think anybody at that point would be like, well, who the hell else you go start? Of course he started.
100%. Yeah. And that's I think that's what it comes out. That's what I'm saying. Is like that would be the only situation where I see him start.
That's completely different.
So, yes.
Yeah.
All right. So we have a sprint of a show today. We have Ask Mikey and Mitch. I don't know. Do we have any Ask Mikey and Mitch questions from socials?
We do have.
Or in the chat?
We have both.
Or both?
I did try to.
Also, side note.
I did. Yes?
Mock drafts. We talked about this off air. A lot of mock drafts are putting Kade Anderson in top 5.
Yeah. But
pretty crazy.
He really loves LSU?
Yeah, I told him, like, hey, bud. Top 10. I've been screaming top 10
top 5.
I've been screaming top 10 since before he started. I didn't even start last year, before like this real season, after we watched him pitch. And even after last year, people are like, he's not, like I'm telling you, top 10 guy. Top 5. I didn't say top 5.
The other one shooting up the draft board is Ianson.
Ianson is making that. He's having the
Shabazz Napier?
23 climb. What's the
Ty Floyd?
Ty Floyd climb. He's having the Ty Floyd climb right now.
I'm gonna throw this out there. Tell me what you think about this. I'm gonna throw this one out there. Anthony Ianson, you know who he reminds me of on the mound?
Mark Pryor.
Anibal Sanchez.
Anibal. Wow.
Bro, because he has such an ability to pitch backwards, and he does it so often. But then he'll have days where he's sitting 93 to 96, and you're like, where the shit that came from?
Yeah.
Now guys with that kind of velo but still pitching backwards and can do it often.
Yeah.
He reminds me of him. That's where when Anibal was at his best in his career, that's what he was doing.
I was about to say early on Anibal Sanchez. The Anibal Sanchez I played with, not so much.
In Detroit?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, before when he got to Detroit, he was a 3.7. He had a 2.5, 3.4 ERA. Those 3 years. And then 15 had a 5. 16 had a 6. 17 when I played with him, 6.5. So, yeah. But, like, prime Anibal, I can see that. Mixing and matching speeds. Has the velo to get it up there if he needs it. And his repertoire of pitches, not necessarily like Kade Anderson, you can look at his ability. Like he's got I think he's got more miles an hour in the tank too. Like I think when you're gonna look up and he's in the big leagues and he's be sitting 95, 96, like that's the arm action he's got, loose, easy with that ride. Huh?
Ianson?
No, Anderson. But then Ianson, I think you're gonna see him. He's gonna keep his velo. He's gonna, I think, more consistently sit 93, 95, touch 96 like he's doing. But he has the difference. He has the different breaking balls that he can throw at any time, and he has the location. He has the ability to throw them at any count. That's what the major league pitchers are doing now. Like, that is how they're attacking hitters. They're not throwing a ton of fastballs, and so I think he's gonna rise real quickly in the system. Speaking of rising, Gage jump Double-A. Just got called up.
Oh, I asked this question on the Rally Time pod that I did earlier today. But at this point in the year, do you think you have a better 1-2 with Kade Anderson and Anthony Einstein than you did last year with Luke Holman and Gage Jump?
That is a good question. I do.
Ooh, that's a great question.
I do.
And I do, yeah.
I do.
Would you have said the same thing like 3 weeks ago?
No. I mean, I think I would have said it was close. I would have said like that would have been a really good debate, a hard debate. But I think what you've seen Einstein do the last 3 weeks, I think he's elevated his game similar to how Gage Jump did it at the back end of the year last year. All right, 2 different pitchers, obviously.
I would have said it's possible to say that just because of if you're looking at pure stuff for 2 versus 2, basically. Cade and Anthony have better stuff than Luke and Gage did together.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe not pitchability all throughout the year and all that, but if you're just looking at pure stuff, yeah, I think it's fair to say. I think it might have been fair for a little bit longer. Yeah, this year's probably is the better 1-2 punch.
Correct.
Luke Coleman in 2023-2024, he was...
No, it's 24-25.
Well, I'm just looking at the LSU website.
I thought 23-24 he was at Alabama.
It says 21-22. For his only year at LSU.
Okay, there you go.
That. And it says 2023 to 2024. I don't know how they do the calendar. 9-4, 2.75 ERA, 16 appearances, 91 innings pitched.
Yeah.
Only gave up 6 home runs, 127 strikeouts, 33 walks.
No, he was elite. No doubt.
Gage Jump. Stats. 23-24 at LSU. 6-2, 3.4 ERA, 101 strikeouts, 22 walks.
Yeah, I mean, I think both those guys surpass the strikeout numbers of those guys and innings of those guys. So, yes, I think that they would be better than those two.
For a while there, Holman was sitting like sub-1 ERA.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he had a great year. All right, ask Mikey and Mitch.
You're not ready for it. Ask him and him.
We got like a
I know,
15,
we're gonna sprint through it.
Yeah,
We're
15 minutes.
Ask him and him if eating a burger and fries, what's your go-to fry? Waffle, crinkle, straight, curly?
Ah.
And do you mix ketchup and mayo as a dipping sauce? I've never done that.
Okay, so I like all the above on the fries. I think
your face.
I think the crinkle. I mean, I think the curly fries. You don't see those often. That's probably last on that list.
A good curly fries.
Great, but you don't see them often.
Yeah, Arby's.
Right. Crinkle cut. You know, that's the Canes thing, right?
Waffle Chick-fil-A.
Waffles Chick-fil-A. But I like the waffle. I like a nice, like, crispy fry, though. I hate the soft fries. I don't like the soft fries.
I like a soft fry and give me the seasoned fry, however you want to shape them.
So you like the Five Guys seasoned fries that are a little soggy.
I think a soggy fry depending on what you're eating it with, like a burger where everything's a little bit juicy.
See, I like it a little crisp.
You can drag them a little bit through the ketchup.
I like a little crisp.
But I do like them crisp too, like a short fry.
I don't want no ketchup though.
See, I like ketchup. I am not a ketchup mayo guy. Just straight ketchup.
What about on their burger?
No, I don't even put ketchup on burger. I put mayo on there.
So you are mixing it just in a different way.
Just in a different way.
That's the kind of elite.
I'll get the fries. Like, I'm a big, if I'm bringing the food home, like I get it to go or whatever. I'm a big, hey, if the fries aren't crispy enough, put them in the air fryer guy.
Yeah.
And get them a little crispier.
Dangerous game though, because if you forget.
You know the timing. That's a stand by the air fryer type thing. You can't walk away from it.
You can't go get on the couch. There's no, you got to pay attention. Like a dog with a bone.
And usually when I'm doing that, I'm by myself and I'm relaxed.
Great spot.
I'm relaxed. Usually.
Thank you. Shout out Indigo Papers. Ask Eminem.
They must say you're indigo at that time, right? I get it.
Ask Eminem. How are you able to watch an LSU game, any sport, and not get worked up about it? Is it because you've been on the other side?
Who says I don't get worked up about it?
Well, there was a comment on a YouTube video that we did where it was the game that we went to together with the walk-off, Tennessee. And they're like, Lloyd was very animated at the game, and Mikey was very stoic watching. And I was like, Mikey wanted to go home.
Well, that's not why I was stoic. But like it was.
but yeah, I mean, you do watch the game differently. Like you get fired up for sure, but like I can do it both ways. I was just absolutely hammered, so it was way more fun.
Football. There's one way for me to watch the game, and that's
standing up.
As hyped up as I can.
Hammered.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's. You've been around it. You see it. Like there's big moments, like the walk-off homer in Omaha, the walk-off homer in that Tennessee game. Like those moments get you going, and it's like. I don't know.
I mean, you saw me in 23. I didn't celebrate the game 3 until it was absolutely over.
Yeah, right. And they won by 50.
Yeah, because at some point you just gotta. When it's time to win, it's time to win. But if I'm in Alec Box, and it's
postseason baseball, you may see some emotion.
So yeah, and you might be some double birds.
Yep.
I think. I also think too, like being in those situations as much as we have been, you kind of get conditioned. To understand how easily some of these things can turn, and like so you just because you get so used to having to calm yourself down or bring your heart rate down in these situations where things may be going awry and they're not good. You just automatically innately like carry that through to even being a fan now for the most part.
Yeah, for sure. Next.
Hold on, I just had one. Oh, ask Mikey and Mitch. Saber on green. If the tournament started today, which pitcher are you keeping on the roster to make a push at the Natty? Because don't they have to trim the roster down?
Yeah, which one are you keeping?
We can only have one pitcher on the roster. We're not winning the Natty.
I don't think that they're gonna have. I don't think there's gonna be a ton of tough.
It's like softball. You just use one the whole
time.
Like
I don't think there's gonna be a ton of tough decisions on who they keep as far as like roster construction because you have a bunch of guys that have only thrown like less than 10 innings, less than 5 innings, honestly.
Yeah, how many do you like usually bring? 8?
I don't know what no, more than that.
Okay, then they're
you
fine.
probably. I mean, if you have to bring like in Major League Baseball, if you're bringing 25 guys, if 26 guys travel, you're going to bring 13 and 13.
Okay.
Sometimes 14 and 12, one way or the other, depending on it. But you get more than that. I think you get 30 in college baseball for travel roster. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if you saw 15 and 15.
Yeah, I don't think there's really that if that's the case, there's no real decision to make.
Yeah.
Ask Eminem. Oh.
Hey.
Off the beaten path, but still sports related. DJ Trauma, who said he's going to help us. I sent him my email. He's back. He's done with school. Reaction to Carr retiring. I don't know if y'all care about the Saints as much as LSU.
I do care about the Saints. Lloyd does not.
I'm getting there. I'm turning the page now that the bad man's gone. Both Dennis Allen and
I'll give you is a very interesting and confusing offseason, like from his camp and from his side and how he's approached this. And even for him, like this being his exit to football is a little weird. I think in the Saints situation, like I think it's huge for them to be able to kind of recoup some cap space and to be able to do some extra things going forward from now. Doesn't really help them out this year that much in terms of it, but like it's going to allow them to be able to do some different things going forward. So I think it's good for them, but I also think it's good for the Saints in terms of trying to figure out where that next quarterback is going to come. Look, like at the end of the day, Derek's on the wrong side of 30, even if he was great. Like the juice hadn't been worth the squeeze, and you were still going to be having to go look for that next guy. This gives them the opportunity to kind of make a decision or get closer to a decision on the 2 guys they have now, and maybe they're able to get back in the quarterback market next year, and or do the things they need to do to boost the roster and start turning it over, because there is a lot of age on the roster.
Yeah, and what I like is now you drafted a guy in the second round, whether you love him or you hate him. You drafted the guy in the second round. Now you say, okay, you're going to play. What do we have in you? Do we like you or not? You're going to find out right away if he's your guy. And if you don't have a big win, if you don't have a great record, and he doesn't do really well, you have the ability to go draft probably a better quarterback class next year.
But honestly, tell you, But tell the truth though, like let's just say he doesn't win the spot out of camp. I would imagine if Spencer doesn't play well this year, he gone, right? And then you're going to play Tyler at some point. Well, then at that point, I still need to go get another quarterback.
Right.
Well, and it almost kind of doesn't matter, like unless you insert Tyler in there at some point. I don't even know how to say his last name, but let's say you insert him in there at some point, and let's say he goes ham, he goes bonkers, and we all like, oh shit, we got like a quarterback. Well, then now you're bringing in a seasoned vet.
100%.
If he ain't that guy, now you're probably going to bring in somebody that's going to give you some quarterback competition or the next guy. So I think it puts them in a good spot. I actually hope he doesn't start for the year because at least now we'll be closer to a decision on one of those guys, right? And then the next one you can kind of start playing and start figuring out how to move forward. So I kind of personally hope he doesn't open the season as a starter.
Why haven't the Saints gotten a veteran free agent quarterback?
Have you seen the list?
No, but they should go get Jameis back.
James, he signed.
Ask out of it. Trade for him.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
But we talked with Nick Underhill about that today, and he's like, I would love to see them bring in a veteran quarterback, but then you look at the list. NFL quarterback free agents. You know who's on there still? Teddy Bridgewater. He's a high school coach, but I think he's coming back.
No, he came back last year.
Yeah.
He came back last year, coach. He was a playoff quarterback last
but
year.
you're not. Here's my deal. You're not bringing a veteran to start. You're bringing a veteran in to get in there and get you through a couple games and help the guy transition to the NFL. Honestly, that's what you're doing.
You could have
Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, but he's not coming back up.
You could have Carson Wentz.
I don't know if that's the guy you want leading you.
You
in
could
there.
have Teddy Bridgewater.
That would be the guy. Those three, that would be the guy that probably fits that mold.
C.J. Beathard, Tyler Huntley, Jeff Driscoll still out there doing it.
Wow.
Desmond Ridder or Jake Fromm.
Yeah, okay.
Is that really anybody to get?
You're right. All right, next question.
What am I going to learn from Jake Fromm?
Drake Fromm? Jake.
No, this is Drake Fromm.
Maybe he's better.
Drake May. Outside. Oh, never mind. Ask Eminem. I've read this 2 times at once. Ask Eminem, who do you think is the best baseball team in the country? I thought they were going to say outside the SEC, which that's the question I want to know.
I think that's a hard question. I would like to say LSU. Talent-wise, depth-wise, they have the ability to be the best in the country, but I think
ranked first.
I think this year, anybody can. There's a few teams that you can go and within the same conference. If you're talking about out of conference, I think Florida State, outside the SEC, is the best team outside of the SEC.
How is he play pitch?
Huh?
I've been seeing them throw a pitch.
They got some guys though.
Hey, I got a left-handed pitcher apparently.
I like the Florida State if you're talking about outside the conference, just simply off of who they have there as an ace and what his ability is and what his draft prospects is. And look, we saw him pitch a little bit last year in the College World Series. The guy's good. Jamie Arnold's a dog. So if you want to go there, honestly, inside the conference, people are going to hate it, but I'm going to sit here and still look at this Arkansas team, man. I understand what just happened in Baton Rouge, but we all know how damn hard it is to come into Baton Rouge and play. They have a better home record than LSU. They have a better away record than LSU. They are a better hitting team than LSU right now with more power. LSU's pitching it a little bit better than them at this point. Literally a little bit better. When I say a little bit better, 0.15 is a better ERA that they have that LSU has in them right now. So, I think you put those two right now today on neutral ground, who knows?
Yeah.
I just think that they have a better team. Now, I will say this, and I've been saying it all year, and I'm going to come back to it now because I think there's been a progression of it and how it's gone. The guy we just had on the show, Ethan Fry, it went from, man, it'd be nice. We need some authority in the middle of the lineup. Be nice to find that. Then he starts getting in there. When he started getting in there, it became he is absolutely killing midweek pitching. Need to see it kind of show up on the weekend. It has started to show up on the weekend. So if he's in the middle of the lineup and he keeps progressing the same way and keeps going on that same trajectory that he's going on now, and then you throw Luis Hernandez in there as well,
yeah,
I think that's different.
Yeah.
And now that LSU lineup starts to look completely different to me. So I do think that there is a road where LSU can really get to that spot. And at the end of the year, because you're so late in the league, you're never going to look at it and say, oh, well, the numbers are evened up. But like, that's kind of where they are. Here's one who I'll throw out there too. And I don't think that they're the best, but I had this conversation earlier and I was kind of trying to put some stuff together. So they lost their Friday night guy. Jared Spencer's gone, right? But before he was gone, they were the best pitching team in the league, and it was by a pretty decent margin, right? That team has lost the best pitcher, their Friday night guy, and they've lost a possible 15 to 20 homer guy who, oh, by the way, was the Big 12 Player of the Year last year. Usually when you have guys that get to that accolade standpoint, they're drafted, they're gone, you don't have them the next year. He was back on the team as well this year. He got hurt and he's gone. So if that didn't happen, where would this Texas squad be?
Right.
Truthfully.
Right.
But they don't have them. But those are the two teams to me.
Yeah, outside LSU for sure. I'm with you. Lloyd, next. Make it a good one.
I know. I feel like this is the last one.
Yep.
Wait, Lloyd, who's your best team? Who's the best team you got in the league or in the country?
I mean,
you can't just say the name. No, I want to know why.
Yeah, I mean, I do like what LSU has done, but I'm so close to it that it feels like that's the easy answer.
Arkansas had the scariest, in my opinion, watching it, scariest lineup top to bottom as far as guys that are going to do damage. And obviously their pitching staff is good, but I think they probably
Their lineup and Tennessee's lineup top to bottom is truly like anybody may get you. Like Tennessee's got 7 guys. Tennessee reminds me a lot of the 23 team and then maybe a lot of their team last year. They got 7 guys in the lineup who's got 10 plus.
Yeah. But also LSU 10-run both those teams. I know it was at home, but still.
Right.
Like that's what's impressive to me is you played 2 top 10 teams in the country and 10-run them.
Right, true.
And I think with as good as Arkansas's lineup is this year, it's hard to ignore when you have 2 guys that can go out there and start and give you quality starts and win you baseball games. And then when LSU does find the offense and it matches with the pitching, it's like, good Lord.
For sure.
So,
yeah.
All right. Fair enough. Last one.
Last one. Ask Eminem, as a fan,
hey,
do you prefer the experience at Alec Box or Tiger Stadium at full force, full potential? That's like picking between your kids.
I mean, to me, it's not. Fuck. I mean, that's
2 different things.
It's
almost.
2 different experiences for me as a fan. Like, I mean,
football, you have to lock the gates.
That super regional game with Paul Skeens.
Yeah.
Like, those are.
You don't get that anywhere
really,
else in the country.
really, really, really good, right? But, like, you don't get, like, those are rare.
Mm-hmm.
When that energy is that high, the game lives up to that, and it's just that's rare. Tiger Stadium, any big home SEC game, like you feel that usually.
Well,
unless it's Alabama and they run for 300 yards against you and they kill you in the first quarter.
But I will say that there's certain times you go to Death Valley, or I'd say like there's times when it's Tiger Stadium, there's times it's Death Valley.
Right.
Like,
no doubt.
And it's not every just because you have a home night game. It's
no
like,
doubt.
If you're good, and then you start like seeing these kind of things like match up.
Same thing could be said about baseball.
Ole Miss game last year,
right?
Like that was one of those when you're like kind of walking around, you're like, holy shit, it feels different in here.
Alabama, and Kelly's first year.
Yeah, Alabama. It's Alabama every time.
Yeah, but like that one was the whole year. That was the whole game.
Yeah, but it feels like whenever it starts to set up and you see the schedule and you see how 2 teams are playing, like okay, if they match up, they're both 5-0, 6-0. Like this is going to be epic, and it's 8:00 at night in Death Valley.
You know it's going to be an epic. Actually, Jared, you answer first, and then I'm going to say that. I'm going to say that after.
Yeah, you have experience with both.
I mean, I think people. Yeah, I think it's weird, man. I've had unique experiences in both, right? But I'll still go and I'll stick by, and I've always said this. Obviously, like the sheer capacity of who's in both of the stadiums is not matched. I'm not stupid enough to not understand that. But for those of you who have not been to playoff games in the box, playoff games in Omaha, playoff, I don't know, like an NLDS, ALDS, or literally like a championship series, playoff baseball literally feels like you're on a roller coaster, right? And like pitch to pitch, there's drops and rises and stuff happening. Like, I feel like the crowd does this all game for 3 hours, 4 hours now, sometimes, right?
Yeah.
And I think that literal emotional roller coaster that goes on during a playoff game, because people live and die off of every pitch, every single one. Like, think about a football game. It's always loud, right? But third downs, it's always the loudest. Maybe the fourth down, maybe the 1 or 2 fourth downs that might happen in a game. Name me the pitches outside of, obviously, like, oh yeah, after the 7th inning. Yeah, that's great. But like, if we know if you're sitting there and you're knowing this an elimination game, those games get from the start of the game. Yep. It's the pitch, the first pitch, it's here, it's there, it's here, it's there, it's here. Like, you do that all game because you don't know when that freaking number inning is coming. It don't necessarily have to come after the 7th. You don't know when you got bases loaded and you're in the field with nobody else and you finally get out of it. That don't necessarily come in the 7th or beyond, right? That may be the one moment in the game. And so I think that's when I think playoff baseball for me is what becomes the craziest, because that in Alex Box, 14,000, that in Omaha, close to 30,000, it feels like 100,000 and it sounds like 100,000 because of how the game is played at that point.
Correct.
Such a good answer.
I tell you what, you're talking about the schedule of football going in next year. The home game against South Carolina, going to be pretty wild.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're going to be good.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
that'll be good.
That'll be a good one. And they're going to travel.
LSU still sitting at, after the portal is closed, still sitting at 8.5 wins.
Which is wild.
I put a hefty chunk of change on it.
Yeah, that's a wild over-under number. But, all right.
Ask him then, with Milam having a down year, do you think he comes back next year?
Milam?
Mm-hmm.
He's a sophomore.
Sophomore. I know. I just like to.
Okay. And he's not draft eligible, I don't believe.
And Jake Brown is going to play third.
Not going to play third. All right, let's get to...
Didn't think about Fry putting him in the infield. If he had to move one.
No. Let's get to mistake of the day.
Got one.
Ooh, ah, we.
I don't know if you saw this, but it is cute and it's fun until it happens to you. And, there's different ways to get people to the ballpark, certainly for minor league games. But this is inevitable, right? At some point, one of these dogs are going to...
Bad dogs.
Yeah, it just seems like you were outside. They don't know the difference between inside and outside. And this is a monster. But it's
as Miss Casey Betty.
I was wondering if you're going to go. Which one you're going to go?
Made her appearance.
Yes.
And
I'm to
there you go.
if he has a piece of
The
paper.
bat dog
I can't tell either.
Something.
has made her presence felt.
It does not look like he has
a numero
something.
dos.
Then it doesn't. Like he has
Behind
something,
home.
but he used it in a different manner than which I would have. And so it feels like it's
And then he touched
So
the
2
game.
outs, and Caleb Bonner digs in.
Yep.
And so this dog also.
Dog had to
As
go.
Miss Casey Betty
This is happening right
has made her appearance.
If Kobe did that, he'd be
And there you go.
He's a walker.
The bat dog
He doesn't do that.
now. Then people are
has
making
made her
excuses
presence
and
felt.
saying like he had to do it like this because otherwise
panicked.
they wouldn't allow dogs in there anymore. There's no way I'm picking that up with my hand.
And touching the gate.
And if you do pick it up with your hand that way,
Don't touch the gate.
pick it up with your hand like this. Be absolutely like alpha male,
No.
and just pick it up.
He did. If he's gonna pick it up, he did it the right way. If he's gonna pick it up with his hand, yeah, it's tough. Tough. You don't know. Like you gotta adapt and overcome. And that's what he did. All right.
No, he didn't. He did.
No, that's how he did it. That's how he decided to adapt and overcome.
Yeah.
Curtain call.
Primal.
Curtain call.
Oh, curtain call. I don't know if y'all saw this
We're gonna run through
either,
these.
but Nick Cage
Yeah.
is playing.
Yeah.
John
He looks good.
Madden,
He looks good.
and who is my other? Here we go.
Christian Bale.
Christian
playing
Bale
Al
is playing
Davis.
Al Davis doesn't look like Christian Bale at all, and Nick Cage looks absolutely unhinged.
How awesome is that? That's great.
It's pretty good.
But
pretty great.
Great casting, and somehow they always manage to like he looks like Madden. I never
he
look
does.
at Nick Cage and go, he's a dead ringer for boom, John Madden.
Christian Bale has been playing some crazy roles.
He's a great actor.
He's a great actor.
And he's probably going to be unhinged as Al Davis.
Yeah, I
It'll be
can't
like
wait.
whenever he was, what other guy was he? Oh, he was, The politician. Dick Cheney?
Oh, yeah.
That was interesting.
Jay, you got one?
I got 3 in here.
I'll give you mine. Mine is we talked about Sam Dutton, obviously transferred from LSU to Auburn. Part of the reason that Jay talked about him transferring is that his older brother was transferring in from a Division III school that is no longer having baseball. He was on the team, but more of like a manager type.
He coached first
all year, but he was active. He was on the active roster, right? He was just basically the first base coach. Last home game of his career, last home game of the season, he gets an at bat and hits a homer. Like, what a moment for him! What a cool experience. He gets one at bat, one home run, and Auburn is putting up some serious runs against whoever they're playing right now. But great for him.
Every time they play.
Yeah, good for him. Jay, you got one? You want to just piggyback on that one?
I think that's what I actually sent that to someone before you sent it this morning as well. So that's it.
What happens with a lot of our curtain calls.
Yeah,
we
I know.
see it and then we forget about it.
I know. All right. I'm not trying to rush out, but I am trying to rush out. We appreciate y'all. We love it. We appreciate this love and support. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you can't watch us, but you like to listen to us when you get your pods. We'll be back Monday next week from 6 to 8 p.m. No show on Friday. We appreciate the love and support. Enjoy the rest of your beautiful Wednesday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. We love y'all. Peace. Jay, love you.